Crypt Sermon, welcome to 69 Faces of Rock. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Yeah, first time in Wisconsin.
Excellent. Introduce yourself and tell me what you do in the band.
I'm Brooks Wilson. I sing for the band.
I'm Steve Jansson. I play guitar.
Give me some background on the band. When did you guys form?
Steve, get that.
2013,
I guess, is a demo year.
Yeah, demo. We with I think the idea in the very early beginnings maybe started as early as 2012, but we've got our first demo out in 2013.
Can you explain the name Crypt Sermon?
I mean, we were looking for a band name that was in line with the classic heavy metal sounding names. Black Sabbath, Candlemass, Crypt Sermon kind of rolls off the tongue.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about your first album, which would be Out of the Garden, right?
Yeah, that came out, 10 years ago. We were at the time writing to play like epic doom metal, because at the time that it came out, it wasn't a very popular style of doom. Yeah. There was a lot of like fuzzed out bands, a lot of like 6-bar blues type stuff sounding, doom, bong, stoner, witch bands, and we wanted to be something different.
How do you feel about that record 10 years later?
I actually, I hadn't listened to that record in probably 10 years until we were mixing our last album. So I just I revisited it now. I actually liked it a lot better than I remember, warts and all. But no, I actually prefer it to our second record nowadays. But I think it's cool. And it was also a really cool time for the band. We were, we didn't really entirely know what we were doing. We were just a couple guys throwing around riffs and songs and having fun. There was no ambition. We were just making some noise. So I remember that period very fondly.
Now, it took you guys, 4 years for a follow-up. How would you describe your songwriting process?
Well, yeah, for Out of the Garden, we kind of got stuff together pretty quick, because a lot of it was like a person would come into practice with a song fully composed, and that kind of remained the same for the following album, where generally speaking, songs we wrote a lot of music and pared it down to about an hour, but songs tended to come fully formed to the practice space, and that changed a lot by the third album.
Do you allow the songs to mature before you record them?
I think so. We practice a lot. We practice the songs as written for a long time, and we would always even historically tweak them a little bit.
And our last record, we demoed everything. We had a lot of strong demo material.
We
touched a lot of stuff up as we went.
Yeah, we worked especially on the newer album with a lot more intention on refining things.
So the Ruins of Fading Light, that comes out in 2019. How would you describe this album and compare with anything that came before?
It was a stepping stone for us. It was, it was. I think we were kicking up the musicianship a little bit. We were getting a little, bigger. We were leaning into the epic side of it a little more. Looking back on it, it has its moments, and I'm sure I'll listen to it in a few years and I'll come around to it a little differently. But it's a little bit, there's some growing pains in there from a first one to that one, and then I think we finally fully were able to spread our wings and sort of get a little bit more of an identity by our third record. But that's just how I feel. How do you?
I think Ruins of Fading Light was us really trying to lean hard into a certain genre of music that maybe we didn't feel like we were playing that genre of music, but we were like kind of trying to pull out all the stops that are part of that style and maybe is a little less authentic to who we are as songwriters. So I think that we, in retrospect, see that.
At this point, with 2 records out, were you able to play shows, do tours? How did that look?
Yeah.
Well,
was it even available?
It was 2019, because it was like September 2019.
Yeah.
I think we played 2 shows off of that record, and then we had tours and festivals scheduled over in Europe, but obviously that did not happen.
Yeah. It was March 14th when we had to cancel our flights to Greece for our first, string of European dates.
So 5 years later, you guys really like taking your time, right? 5 years later, you come up with Stygian Rose, right? What is happening with the band musically at this point?
There was a lot of things happening. Obviously, we went through a global pandemic at that time, and there was a lot of things that happened internally in the band, and some things that happened in our personal lives that it was definitely a rocky period. But once we got Tanner on board, that was when we started to really get momentum going, and we were really hungry to do something. Just kind of spread our wings and just sort of be a little more musically free, and be able to do incorporate some more of our personalities and some different things into the record that we hadn't done before, and we're going to continue to do that.
And during that downtime of pandemic, what were you doing?
We had like a whole album written. There were some personnel changes, and just stuff wasn't sounding like it just wasn't sounding like what we knew we were capable of writing. So we kind of started from the ground up, and I think there's a couple songs that had been around for a long time. Scrying Orb was an early song on the album, but
It was the first.
it was probably the first written for that album. And I think having such a different sounding song be something that we were all like, okay, this is gonna be on the next album, gave us already a certain perspective to be like, we don't have to do what we did before. This is the time to just write the stuff we want to write.
And we wanted to go darker too, in
Yeah.
a new, like heavier, darker direction.
So out of the 3 albums, which one, in your opinion, has the definite sound and style of Crypt Sermon?
Yeah, there's no question that it's the newest album.
Okay.
This is the music that this is the foundation of like writing new tunes for us. We don't have to be called an epic doom metal band, which I think was sort of crucial to our identity at the start. And I think we're always going to play doom metal songs, but I think we just are moving forward as a dark heavy metal band.
It's definitely in the DNA. But yeah, it's, I know every band says our last record is our definitive.
They always say that.
But this one felt like, again, we were starting to come into our own a bit.
Yeah, and that's the EP you're talking about, right?
Oh, excuse me, the full length, but the EP also.
Yeah.
This is material from the full length.
So
And-
tell me about those songs and that music for both EP and the album.
I think I could clear up some ideas about it as well. So in the Stygian Rose recording sessions, we recorded a lot of songs that were kind of part of this narrative concept that is the album. And the album's kind of like the lyrics are written by a character who's not me, whereas the previous albums I think were kind of like written by me using my perspective and my poetic language. But I like kind of was able to use a different character voice on this album, and so the Saturnian Appendices EP contains 2 more tracks that they thematically and lyrically weren't quite the same as the rest of the tracks. So in an effort to we definitely wanted to make it a single LP, classic 45 minutes on the Stygian Rose, and we were really conscious about having that. So when we were whittling down the songs, I kind of had to pick the songs, didn't have to, but chose to pick the songs that were specifically about magic practices that the character was engaged in. Whereas these songs on Saturnian Appendices are more just like fleshing out the character themselves, and it's kind of like, explaining who they are and what they're emotionally going through. In addition to that, on the B-side of Saturnian Appendices, one of the tracks is Lachrymose, which we wrote right after the Stygian Rose recording session, so it's not even part of that same recording session. And our cover of Mayhem's De Mysteriis Dom Satanas, which was from
Forever ago.
8 or more years ago, recorded for a Decibel Flex.
It seems like you guys picked up the activities quite a lot in last few months, I want to say.
Yeah, we've just
Any
been keeping
specific
up with
cause
the
for that?
shows. I mean, we had the European short little European tour, so that I think that's a big reason to have our names out like at the same time of releasing a new EP. And then the EP is kind of like, it's long, the songs are long, so it's it's kind of, you get the bang for your buck It was like nearly a full length in playtime. I think it's like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, we definitely have good momentum going, and like things in the band are very healthy right now. We all have, we're all having fun, and we're having fun making music, and also, so far, our lives have been steady.
Stable.
Yeah. I mean, this band's been like a whole period of growth for all of us because we've got like parents in the band now, and that's a huge change, and that like kind of accounts for some of the downtime between albums.
That's
right after the first
explainable.
album. First album was my daughter was born right before it, and then the second album, my son was born right before the second album.
Yep.
Then you had a dog. So, that like accounts for a lot of the downtime, and like we're friends, so instead of like feeling like we need to jump at and always be doing the band, sometimes we're just hanging out, and
Well, I mean, the fact that you still are able to do the band, considering the responsibilities of being a parent,
right,
is a miracle in a way.
right,
Yeah, and it's a labor of love too, and that's what's. I think that's what we don't. It doesn't matter that we take, at least, I think we'd all like to think we're going to get the next stuff out done a little quicker this time.
yeah.
And we probably will, but I don't want to make any promises. But it's because being in a band isn't our full-time job. The passion's still there, and the passion to make the best record we can, with the time available.
Yeah. Finally, what's next for you?
I think we've got these shows coming up, and then some shows planned into the next year, and then we're gonna focus more on writing. And I think we have a lot of creative hands in the band now, and a lot more people contributing to the songwriting. So I think, and like collaborating on the songwriting too. So we're really excited to just write new music and see what we come up with.
Thank you.
Thank you.